even know so more pressure. But here ne kim when you stroke was here tomano. Mesro a futu ya medi kind amount na no pen said a brand no ko hospital and Alba Emma Santia back clinic ye checkups. Then we say, oh, me sugar no cry to send me sugar level. And I say me pressure cry to send me will be and I say me nibi. Na uhune sa ebetumi ayeden aboa papa na impofrimu anyeden anto enti edura medical di achew eye pressure eduro da bia me de che ene da nwumre kura wo hwe Kessben 8:30 a me di bibere eye de eche ena no pe me di bi chew se wo pressure wanum inuro bi se ni fidipin amodipin lisonoprin nefcard emema npo di omunum sanro na no mo be ma no na ewu kodwo to anopai kodwom kope carrots kokumba atadwe ne akekadro carrot kokumba atadwe ne akekadro eye 4 items me pa cho me pesa me sori na ba friend beka say we refi carrot me siro tie ni carrot kokumba atadwe ne akekadro blend na no mame eye pressure drug kese pa wa asase we so wo hwe Numbers chapter 11 verse 5 was say aduane ayedia na yenya hoodene wabra na ye wo Egypt no Misraim no ebi yakokumba nom jene nom garlic nom habamono nom so ehu media me kama sam say eho no saa time na pizza ni ho eho no anwamu eni ho fufuo kura eni ho so ehu enti enuane a basically no yedi ama ya hoodene ye ne nyame anu adada ebi de carrot ni kokumba ne na sefo no enti anope pressure do ne ya carrot kokumba atadwe ne akikadro blended no sani yemai ewo Bible mu so tele me chema say Israel for so aka fa me numbers no na ebia na ubehia me ebi mpa na pesa obama so ye ne betwetwe nkomo na wayera into numbers no enie 0550 43 99 20 0550 43 99 20 027 28 92 701 027 28 92 701 WhatsApp line here 0244 42 00 69 0244 42 00 69 Masuya ne eye kokomlemle senate for office dademo kokomlemle senate for office dademo ukokumase so eye kumase cultural center kokwase amamrafie kumase cultural center kokwase sa places yi na abayede ubehume enti u pese woni metwem komo ebiso na yade bia bronso wonti ase obama suya ya we are equal to the task yababua amwa free sa yade no mo enti chane so na yede fama me kachre ahwefo ni atiefo nyina se sesi akumase fo matuadi sesi ya lab tie ni ye pa oba lab bia pesa wo ye no ye betumi ayeden ayama kan nankran kwana na lab no eyeden ewo ba sesi ade kumase o enkrayo any of ya suye no lab bia opese ye no ye betumi ayeden aye amount ti se PSC sesi PSC no postrate ye na kum mema no papa e brand brand every 3 months bia ye check up hwese u PSC no etisen e kosoro na se yeden because utra omano esiew at the end of the day to me ye efunumu that's a year cancerous cancerous in fact that time no na akwachiri utra anye ye na unisika papa bi no wanya ndro papa bi a eno asa otoa nananom ewo nsiedo enti PS no mesre me ahwefo no matiefo se just walk in to yasuye ye se kokomlemle senate office dadam ho anase kumase culture center kokwase ho menua odi problem na ye betumi ayesa test no ayedama test bi apesa wo ye hyane so na fama me ma yanko prostate enlargement adroso tiedie se wo prostate enlargement ebia yesu PS ni mu apie kakra nia huhia fresh tomatoes
okay
carrot and kokuma fresh tomatoes carrot and kokuma blended no mama
blended bomb
ebetu sa prostate enlargement na say entumi koye cancerous so when me kira no enti
say would this say ya no there wouldn't be any need say obeko hospital na ye check na develop from enlargement no echo cancer.
Yes, sir. We say no. Time to time, so check na you sure of it.
Okay.
Until we check here, oh, you make a prostate na come up. So on no. Very good. But say see how dear no abroso ajegong. Ebi ya show catheter.
Okay.
Ebi wa dwonso achima moja na ye den eba. Ebi wa kura na usisi ya oya. Ebi wa kura bema ne mu hihyew dwonso na hihyew. Eno akwa chire no. Meso Febra maso ye. Uba kokomlemle Senate office that dem ha ye beti ne te aye den ama. Uba Kumasi Cultural Center kokwas so eno so ye beti ne te aye den ama. But and then me wo good news ema obi bia.
Ma yentie.
Sa promo no in fact eboa manfo pa. Ye tumi hu say oman no mu somehow no aye den.
Last week here ka ho.
Enti amafo tie omu tie kura na omu tumi maso ye. Enti ye say enka wo ba yaso ye before e bia nrobo ha beton by 5 or 6 million.
Okay.
And yes wo card. Ene unro nyina e 200 cedis.
Okay.
200 cedis promo.
Enti we reduce the price no.
Yeah, ne ochina copy Friday.
Okay.
Ene ochina copy Friday. Enti omusha so 200 cedis. Yade bia tete no Febra. Na yama unro ebetima ye de aboa wo na wa obo hu say yes eduro wo baabi mentana ase ma ungu wabra sika eye den ehye obotom kofo bebre wu omuwu a wo behwe obotom no ne o makanso sika bebre esu wantumi anya de anko ayare sabia family numbers no 0550 43 99 20 0550 43 99 20 027 28 92 701 027 28 92 701 What's up line here 0244 42 00 69 Kubi last week you can simbi radio so and I say TV so and remember you money and it da bema bia wo ne yere sekan ye kohwehwe mu a say ne yere na chiti on him sa problem no e wagana pa emema ebi wakwa wa dress it say ne wa madressi enso na ase ho no na enye adwuma the reason and they say enuane aye consume no it gives a whole lot of blockages could be and say we young man no who consume any aduane anyhow o yere be complain at the end of the day no problem be den ebeba na yahu say blockages in this or how no eba no adabridjo no obi o ho be ye 1 year ni be mampo ensore ye obi o ko ne yere hu asabe na ne be man no aye dan to form enye wo a eye nuane na udie no nti asate eba say ye di aduraba your friend 3-in-1 locally prepared e wo yaso ye nko a kokomlemle Senate office that them all and ala pass baby a yelodo airport no and I say Kumasi Cultural Center e nko na benya bi unya bi from baby the whole world though na eduro no bua e cleanse u kidney no ne wa trace no nti sabe wo ka oba pe na sabe ujina online so matu ni din say 3-in-1 3-in-1 no e beji wa ware na si anya sa wa ware na e begu anya sa obi befa wo yere 3-in-1 ye 100 cedis per bejibi na emwo na jiwa wari ye de si wo family numbers no mebre no enya ayebre 0550 43 99 20 0550 43 99 20 027 28 92 701 027 28 92 701 What's up line here 0244 42 00 69 0244 42 00 69 Messi net Friday promotion no 200 cedis per what draw nyinara ne wo card and say folder ye be frɛ no 200 cedis per wa ma na yade account to ha wa wasama me de obi biara se say moti me kubi
me da se nyame nhira pa have a nice day.
Thank you very much.
Kessben 92.9 Kessben 92.9 90.9.
Mega budget Jevielo, Toboli, Mega budget Jevielo, Toboli, Mega Blanyeji, Toboli, Mega Yoanyeji, Toboli, Mega Favila Zamenamo, Mega Favila Zamenamo, Nadena Hopera Siona Blo, Devielo, Toboli. Mega budget Jevielo, Toboli, Mega budget Jevielo, Toboli, Mega Blanyeji, Toboli, Mega Yoanyeji, Toboli, Mega Favila Zamenamo, Mega Favila Zamenamo, Nadena Hopera Siona Blo, Devielo, Toboli, Mega Favila Zamenamo, Mega Favila Zamenamo, Devielo, Toboli.
And now I said it is only 57 after 7. This is Kessben 92.9. Sir UTL Radio this is 92.9 on TV. We are live on Kessben Television on DSTV channel 364, Go TV channel 121, Digital TV, normal free to air. And pay Ubenya ye na afe wodo adwen training na no abam. But just sending so mami sir obe dial the short code *256*2# na was select option 2 and pay Chosika ewo Maakye Jumede so ansana yetime asore. Now the new patriotic party is preparing say nyame adoma memene da ID and demwe womo betime akwakoto aba 4 aspirant and a candidate are seeking the highest office of the new patriotic party. Make a highest officer, it is indeed the highest office because no any a year obia obetime a contest for the presidential slot on behalf of the new patriotic party. And as the constitution of their party requires, the leader of the party as at the time becomes the flag bearer. And it is indeed the case the party is in search for such a person. I will bet me a lady or more for next year's general election. Now the vice president, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia Alaje, His Excellency, plus a compreko Ejepong na afei so the former Greek minister Orakuto Efriye and a Francis Adainimo is meeting head to head na nyame adoma Saturday. The delegate of the new patriotic party no etime ashe ato womoso aba. Now some of the constituencies are yekasa anopei no enya de a womo etime aye constituency elections. Sa constituency for ni nyina no efrasi a womo kasa na Sunyani East for a year biaba ko a womo ento aba. The concerns are womo kan nyina no and it's the party at state national level and then the committee yede adwuma ahye womo nsa se womo nhwe na womo nya abato no ho nhyehyeye nyina no are failing. Esan se Sunyani East for nyame adoma memory da womo entimi ento aba no ebi. And then similarly as a party panyin bia any womo enka hwe Mamede Maxwell Mahama eni nkomo as the constituency communication officer for the party in Sunyani East. Maxi Otemeka, good morning. It's saying
good morning. Na
oban cry back one be hwe no anu wa maybe.
In fact, do so yina. Dana me cry. So me sa bomachi, abomachi. Na mabetwa duma de so ewusunyame. O de fato me mesa ba.
No. Now we are told say on Saturday about to be no moon to be directive every national any region about mo constituency ni mo ana.
Me that's it. Didi kan metia o chifu nyina. Ni wo hwefo nyina. The TN say directive within the aba.
Okay.
Because the young no any electoral commission or the polling centers for every constituency. The Ababe drew constituency bia. This Osha Yoga Sribo Kwekua. On an chat here. Region bia. There were constituency who bia no or the polling center baby constituency bia betonaba. The Ababe drew. Now, when you say regional executives, any founding fathers of the region, or more constituency. The regional polling centers now. Regional polling center no, the regional capital constituency
Okay.
In the case of Bono region, there were Sunyani East as the capital of the Bono region. Bono regional executives, any founding fathers there, delegates to the presidential primaries, you know. Omo Aba, Sunyani West. And Sunyani West is not the regional capital. There's also
yes, so my taking one after the other. So what it means, and it's the party founding fathers in the region, womo every Sunyani East no, womo they will be allowed to vote, but this time around, no, one better about Sunyani West. Is that the case? Okay.
The founding father Bia or Bono region Bia no. On Metunaba Ewo regional capital, because then to about our regional capital.
Okay.
On about Sunyani West, the nearest as the twin and as the sister constituency. And a regional executive is do 17. That regional executive means now so no and to about our regional capital because there is no polling center for the regional capital. Sunyani West.
Okay.
And TESCON executives, so every tertiary institution here would be a constituency, you know. There is a TESCON rep also ever trouble. The TESCON phone in Matisa Eric, the national TESCON coordinator, and so directly every delegate or a TESCON member be so to about Sunyani East, you know. Uncle Sunyani West and Concoto Naba. And she said, or more aye, election committee na aye, and then she said, electoral commission, also aye, and Abaswe. The Osha Sunyani East, because of state, some new was in Libya. Now, as in Libya, also, court no access, national party, no, a year. You are Kodia and dignity, it didn't be a free Sunyani East about what I was saying, what a delegacy. That is a then there are Kodia Monso, a dignity, I did not have dignity, I did. It's up the stance now. Sunyani East, the new delegate, be over 1,255 polling stations, you know, will be a delegate. And the 17 commission executives will be a or a delegate within the jurisdiction of Sunyani East constituency.
Yes, and concerns and Kwame Basono now Monto about any constituency executive. So the question is that why not compile the delegate list now? Oshe a year TESCON for a woman directive say Omonko Sunyani West and Kotuaba Ewo Honomona. Those institutions are a Sunyani East are a what TESCON within no. I presume say the constituency youth organizer no. And a supervisor over them. Now we make sure say what will be biano is well catered for. And it's our listening in the absence of constituency executives, Mona Mubetre say we a TESCON president or a TESCON secretary, we a founding father, no. Why under this our list, no, Emma party, no, at the regional level, ma Wamwakotoba Ewo Sunyani West.
That's it. Every region, they are our regional youth organizer.
Exactly.
And they are regional deputy youth organizer. And all the constituency youth organizations report to the youth wing
of the region.
And every region, also every region, also our regional TESCON coordinator. The TESCON organization, you know, is supervised by the regional youth organizer together with the regional TESCON coordinator. As it stands now, regional TESCON coordinator no accompany listening ahead of time. Regional youth organizer also onward submission to the national TESCON coordinator. One of the party no at the national level. Because Sunyani East any youth organizer because of say went to Yaba the organization there long ahead of time. One I she said ni bibi anti omo delegates omo free Sunyani Technical University any or is other tertiary institution that can win now. As I stand now, the delegates know themselves by way of their coordinator and then the regional youth organizer. They will be and also it has nothing to do with the Sunyani East.
Okay, so what it means is Sunyani East there from polling station to a year electoral area coordinators and then finally to a year constituency executive committee, there is nothing like that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. You need the over. But please, sir, I just say court to be KV. And now I say, poverty also ever sampa the mountain no air cancer, the air cancer, you know, to Yabano. Yababa trouble here. You need executive via was I see Abano Yento. Don't forget, regional executive conference in Okwano. Peter Yan too. And a national association, but you know the political machinations. Yeah, MPA or Kwame Appiah and Nyanka Samadamfo. They are OCC in Temu. This. You know the machinations of together with Nyanka Samadamfo on board at that time. Yeah, two about speaker. Yeah, two about Sunyani East. Police station. They are quite dirty in Pope. And can possess your uncle Twaba. So, one to meet now with them, a church or forbidden said, one and a year executives for Sunyani East constituency. For the court, as far back as 11th May 2022, with their way of impunity cannot be allowed to go on. It is founded on democratic points. We don't want to be mechanical say, men no be a regional chairman. Speaker, what do you mechanical say? Men no be MP, me majority for that. We don't mean some constituency now for the book. And it's a their own Bema. This H-Mensa constituency, Speaker. This H-Mensa constituency, you cannot have your way. Ridiculous and fictitious means. You can't do that. You cannot do that. The Presidential Election Committee, the National Executive Committee, and me, also no, short a period, no corridor, it is in the supreme interest of our internal democracy. The East, you the chair say, we are before and equal to the law. And I am very happy this morning. From yesterday today, up to date, but near papa. Sir, Bonia, na abroad person no ODA Bonia, no Yora, Amia
Master, abroad and they has to obey in the Huano. I wouldn't want us to go on that tangent.
But abroad has reported to the National Executive, the young is about 12 years. Anyway, he's not here. He wants to embark on the rule of national justice. I will not believe at that point. But the point is that any Sunyani East ain't been trouble be Emily of November.
Thank you very much.
Why? Mr. We are sorry.
Mate, area bedin komo. Why, Matt? All right, communication officer for Sunyani East, the new patriotic party, Nino Edin Komono. And this is Election Avenue on 92.9 Kessben TV. This is part of our build-up for Saturday's live coverage of the new Patriotic Party's presidential primaries. Now, we bring you all the details you need to know from constituency basis. Now, pay Yenewo at the home and Komo. And you're breaking it down at the mile. Over 205,000 delegates are expected to cast their vote across 331 polling stations across the entire country. What it means is that across all the 275 constituencies, they say constituency biano ebenya a polling station womo ebeto aba ewo plus additional ones party no akriti ede akaho. So far the Greater Accra region is leading with the highest numbers in terms of a year figures. Enti anope ebedi hon komo. But last days are always dangerous. Ye kaya enono eyampa esan say no diabolic na kosu within the campaign no. A man said no akwakoye bebre. Now a compare ko Canadian Japan is claiming said Dr. Mamudu Bawumia team no abeshiano, and then in an attempt to bribe him and to convince him to step down against a year contest Bebaso Saturday no, they offered him $800 million. Now it beat my imagination. Menina na prempe ajman any enkomo from the camp of a year ura akompreko na anope yemisa ne say how sure are they about this particular claim? Nana Otimika, good morning and pom to saying.
Mr. Speaker.
Very well. And Sikabe na Abamwaswe ya Motimia rejected say $800 million is not an easy amount. Nipa bibet miatina wakase for the sake of president or person with DNT. One yisa Sikano.
Okay, we mefa any day. Mefa ntiama na boke no hene Japan. Ono na Saturday grassroots in answer the Obama no na we be MPP enim. E be akọ election 2024. Na me de ntiama me fa director do say. Ama tia begafo especially diga me penatempa na de na wo ka no ono boke Japan Ghana ha ade ba ko pa o time pa untimi kase eno de obetimi akase onye sa ewe no kre obi eni se eba no kredi a o ka no kre ana on kasa keke o ono boke be kasa na ne na TV bi so enti se sika na wo kasa so no na bi ebe so nanso nipa tinye bibi man nipa tinye bibi e bi man yeyi enti se sika na wo kasa so no ono boke on kasa keke ana won say obi mu na na e kan nsem bi ntine ma e pushing me to the wall e ma ne kan ye no because never ni bo ha won minimum but otini baby na ma be kika say ana say ono ade ba kokko on pene so be pushing to the wall obe kan no kure wo ma tire.
Now pushing him to the wall no krena a woman no anything. You make a mere allegation against the second gentleman of the land, which is the vice president, without substantiating that particular evidence or claim. The Canadian Japan we know as an honorable member of parliament, you know, Eyobia or Kasa or evidence or putting it out. This is not time blame games. Claim and Endi Musa. What is the substantiating evidence and to buttress your claim? That is what Ghanaians are asking for.
Okay, very good. Now, Mr. You see me allegation. You no credit. Honorable Japan. Any allegation are all mouth show. And all kind of one more be a deal. I don't know. Just no. No, but me am go from into Matthew. There no all kind of about me deal. What see ya behuno? Ya behuno doesn't mean say about me.
Why mo na behuno?
And no ka say. Don't say you can to think can. Or can you because say no or split the beans.
Your candidate is going into a major election at Ghana for any DH. Now you are the ruling party, okay? And to make it an allegation, it should be a level of allegation over the evidence. In the first place, you know, why would the candidate a compare Japan? He feared not to put it out to the entire country, say $800 million. Obia offer the amount, say one step down. So the party Maya.
Any allegation are all more. Oh, now okay evidence. So I not journalists need pushing it to the wall or Busan or time FM. No car say would the CC an election I on person that can maybe now after the Ababe Dentine campaign. Near probably we are. Honorable Ken, he doesn't speak just like that too. I mean no do to me Ghana for me to me. On one Kasakeke, Missy Ansana Menken so basically that never that as a catering. Yet, what Benny we are a one now, and a man who a brave woman 5 days now, now, not a bit in the campaign. The opposite who yet, what baby are and I make our move.
Why do you make an allegation on a campaign trail? Now, all chance will be to a baby and son what substantiated the claim I will make it. How relevant would that be after someone to Abanewe?
No. Me bo, the entire man cast and said, ne be munam no more can near me be no catcher, na unim near what sacrifice some grassroots say, or move don't you can see could be a bimu de buy, one more be a discovery a bimu de buy, no. Another general snake say, Ubet mama no see a two baby and I'll be within your say or can't say or they score points say abano and no canal or they are going to be me. I'm more be a ding. I'm not being on a book and can be so. Now, see a 4th November and I'll be. I'm grateful.
If there is no evidence to that effect, I'm grateful for the time this morning. Thank you. Nanajuman, a member of Kennedy Japan's campaign team. Now, maybe I don't know the heat is on. We do not have the time for blame games. Okay, then you substantiate it with the level of evidence. And on our delegate, episode not but mere allegations, it becoming far too many in our politics. And that is it. Bring it us to 16 after 8. This is Kessben. Stay with me now. Me was most Reverend Samuel N. Mensah. I was studio Meneno Ebedi and commercial Yanope. I'm very much privileged to have him in the studio. He's the general overseer and founder for the Full Gospel Church International. This morning I'll be speaking to him, and then he'll be telling us more about what the clergy has been doing and how the clergy views the particular development in terms of our governance. But you better try my best na my transition into Chi. Good morning and welcome to our studio. I'm grateful to have you this morning.
Good morning and thank you very much.
Trust you are doing well. How is the Full Gospel Church headquarters also doing this morning?
The church is doing very great. And just a point of correction, I am now the 3rd generation leader of Full Gospel Church International. As a matter of fact, Full Gospel Church International happens to be the first charismatic church in Ghana, which has seen 3 generation leaders. All charismatic churches are still having their founding leaders in office. But by God's grace, we have transitioned into 3 generation leaders.
And that's so remarkable.
Oh yes, because any organization that does not prepare for sustainability and continuity and succession definitely cannot survive.
That has been the bane of Christianity, especially with the charismatic churches, mostly the founders and then the leaders who nurtured the idea of raising the church for God will sometime leave the church behind, especially when they are no more. And then the church's constitution and all of that becomes problematic in terms of implementation. So I must say a big congratulations if the Full Gospel Church International is able to do this.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Succession has become one of the major concerns, and that is what I specialize with in my PhD program. You know, that not only just charismatic churches in succession, but organizations in succession. You and I can bear witness that founding leaders always die with the organization. The moment they die, that is the end of the organization. Mention Sanyo, GTMC, TTL, Akasanuma, Nyami Metal Works, GTMC, State Fishing Corporation, Ghana Railways, Blaster Line. All these companies have died just because of lack of succession and governance structure. So succession and continuity is extremely important, you know, for our society in Ghana.
Probably we will go into details to get to understand what the secret has been. In fact, the structures the church has been able to put in place to ensure the sustenance you are talking about this morning. But we will also go deeper into nation building, governance in general, and talk more about the things happening to our economy and the country at large. The leadership of President Akufo-Addo. In fact, there is a huge allegation against clergymen by the former president when he spoke at the Ohio State University in the United States, claiming that during his regime there were a lot of concerns and then criticisms that came from clergymen. But similarly, the clergy is quiet these days, and they hardly talk about what is happening in our country. So let's begin on that note. Your general perspective of what you see as a clergyman in Ghana as we speak in terms of our governance.
I must say that generally speaking, things are not going too well. in terms of the way Nana Addo Bawumia government has been managing our society and our country.
Okay.
If you look at what is going on, the massive corruption, the living conditions are extremely difficult for people. Almost every day, the prices are changing. You go to the market today, in the next 2 hours when you go back out there, or probably even the next 15 minutes, the same price has changed. You know, we have just read that tomorrow fuel price will be increased. So naturally, situations are very tough, and I think our government hasn't really lived up to its expectation. You know, our president Nana Addo actually came to the realms of government with great hope. People were really excited. He raised the hopes of Ghanaians. Oh my goodness! I mean, we all had faith in him because he exhibited some strong, bold leadership. So he had the will of the people. As a matter of fact, when we went to congratulate him as church leaders, I personally mentioned that, look, he had the goodwill of the people. So ride on the goodwill of the people to be able to get their buy-in to support your visions and your dreams. But the Nana Addo we thought was going to provide quality leadership is not the kind of Nana Addo in president we see today.
So why
disappointing.
Why then is the clergy now quiet upon having a good thought and then per observation, probably what you saw before his assumption of office, the belief, the goodwill you had together with the entire Ghanaian people. Similarly, the clergy is not speaking up about some of the things that are happening to us. So people are thinking you don't care anymore. It's rather when the NDC is in power, that is when you get the chance to criticize what happens in government.
My brother, definitely that is not the truth at all. Church leaders have been talking. The point is that politicians are the same. NDC, NPP, XZY, they are just the same. They refuse to admit that people are speaking into issues. Church leaders are addressing national issues when NDC was in government and still addressing national issues whilst NPP is in government, except that sometimes, you know, these politicians are very funny. They want you to say something. If you say something that favors them, then you are on their side. If you say it and it favors, you know, the ruling government, oh yes, you are also on the side of the ruling government. They will always want to tag you, whether it is for or against. But you see, majority of us have gone beyond partisan politics. I am a statesman. I am beyond partisan politics. The NPP are aware, the NDC, they are aware, and most church leaders are about partisan politics. There are some who are in bed with, you know, political leaders.
You agree to that effect?
Oh, definitely.
That there are some clergymen who are politically having some level of colors and then affiliations with those
obviously there are church leaders, some church leaders who are in bed with these political leaders. There are traditional leaders who are in bed with these political leaders. There are professional groups that unfortunately are in bed with political leaders. So instead of they looking at issues from a more professional point of view, they put on a partisan eyeglasses and bury their profession. But you see, we are supposed to go beyond that level. So indeed, you have church leaders who are addressing national issues, except that people sometimes want to hear what they want to hear. And if it favors them, then they will congratulate you. But if it doesn't favor them, then of course that is when they would say the things they are saying. So for what the former president said, I mean, during his time of office, we address issues. If it is good, we recommend. If it is not good, we address the concerns. So we spoke during his time, and then we are still speaking. But except that sometimes they just don't listen.
Yes, but presumably someone may disagree because during President Mohammed's time, you could hear loud voices of a lot of clergymen, some church leaders, Reverend Professor Maakye, Reverend Professor Emmanuel Asante, formerly of Peace Council, and then you hear the Catholic Bishops' Conference, I mean, vehemently speaking on certain issues of national interest, key ones, for which some thought they were against the ruling party back then. But similarly, if you are to make the comparison or the analysis, you'd realize that, I mean, it's not so in this current ages.
You see, what people fail to appreciate and to understand. Now, if, for example, a government extends invitation to me,
yes,
that because of my background expertise in governance and leadership, be an advisor to a sitting president, okay? Now, it will not be for me to be addressing national issues publicly then. Because I have the ears of the president
already.
And therefore, as an advisor, I speak to him. So it will be out of place if I used to speak on national issues publicly. I don't have to address national issues publicly again. The ethics would not allow that, because I am in a different position to address and to advise the president as an advisor. But if I don't have his ears and I'm not in that position, then of course I can address national issues publicly. So the very few names you have mentioned are not just the representative of the clergy. There are other more voices that are addressing on the issues. I have been addressing issues, whether it is NPP government or NDC government, other great leaders. You know, Reverend Dr. Opuni Frimpong, the former General Secretary of the Christian Council, have been addressing issues, whether it is NPP government or NDC government. So I think sometimes the media hasn't been too fair to be able to, conclude that it looks like the clergy are not speaking.
We are not saying so. It is the same politicians who are making such claims. The media is not saying that the men of God are not speaking any longer in our country. But I just gave you an example of what the former president said somewhere in the United States just last week, getting to the weekend and then coming into this week as well. So I think the media will be spared on this if it comes to we giving publicity to what the clergymen do say about our national governance.
You know, that is what I understand what you're saying, but you see, they say this, that okay, why are you folks not speaking on the subject matter? Why are you? They will easily come to you because they are in opposition and they will want you to address issues. But the moment they get into government, they shut the door on you. Okay. So that is the basic characteristics of an opposition party. And then also when they come into government, they don't seem to know you again. And then the same people who will encourage you to speak, whilst they are in opposition, when they come into government and you are speaking, they'll tell you, go take the Bible and preach, because that is your responsibility. So for these politicians, believe you me, they are the cause of our woes. The NDC and MPP are the cause of our woes, and nothing new seems to be happening. It is a matter of I scratch your back, you scratch my back. The people who will have to turn the fortunes of our country around is you and I. They must be the citizens. They must go beyond partisan politics. If our country would definitely have to see some level of progress, we should remove the partisan clothes we wear and begin to demand some great performance from these political leaders we have entrusted power into their hands.
I'll come to a very important question of the seriousness of the role that the church leadership is supposed to play in terms of our national governance and the nation building. But how will you respond if the average Ghanaian is blaming a man of God for not speaking up against galamsey? Because we have a menace that is hanging on our necks, and then all that once upon a time we could remember the clergymen put themselves together and then do was to go visit some of the galamsey sites, pray for this country, instead of calling a spade and telling the president that, look, you are handling the institutions, you have the state power in your hands, and so whichever thing that you need to do to stop this canker, you must do. They were rather some sort of, sitting on concern a bit. Ghanaians thought that the approach in which the men of God used was totally wrong and uncalled for. Even as we speak, the menace is still happening in our country.
You see, I think the media focused on one aspect when the clergy visited the site. Of course, they felt that being clergy, they would pray first and then move. Or they visited, they saw the destruction, and then they prayed. But the media did not also focus on the comments they made based upon the things they saw. Media only focus on the aspect of the prayer, just because they want to probably sell their news and make a great news out of it. even yesterday, I mean Sunday, I addressed the issues. Some 2 days ago, I addressed the issues of this Galamsey thing. So the clergy has been talking about the Galamsey. It is a threat to our very survival.
Okay.
And I think that we need to get more of the clergymen, not only that, but the various church councils, the Christian Council of Ghana, the Ghana Pentecostal and Charismatic Council, the Catholic Secretariat, the National Association of Charismatic Churches. The councils must put more pressure on government, because if the Ghana Water Company has told us in the next 10 years we will import water, and imagine importing water with 17 taxes slapped on it, because this government is great with slapping taxes on everything that we are doing and buying. So imagine buying water 10 years from now with all the 17 taxes on it. How can you take care of your family in terms of the water you drink, what you are cooking with? You probably that contaminated water can only be good for flushing our toilet.
Okay.
But now the rest of our survival would be dependent upon the water. So if our very survival is threatened, I think today church leaders must really rally, put pressure on government. TUC must put pressure on government. Professional bodies must come and put pressure on government, even if it calls for demonstrations for weeks and months. We need to do that, because our very survival is at stake. Medical doctors are telling us that now our water is contaminated, and therefore, babies are being born with defects. And of course, there are health challenges. The level of lead and minerals, the level of lead in the water is so high. So if our very survival is at stake, we should not sit down and think that we don't care. We must care enough to bring the change. You and I don't have state powers. Okay, it is the government we have entrusted with responsibility that has the power to get the military to stop this Galamsey. Unfortunately, government is also not showing the commitment and the way. I strongly believe citizens must be on the street if it calls for 2 months demonstration, until government will recognize that they must do something. We are heading towards destruction.
Will your very self be ever willing to lead that course of demonstration? Because all this explanation you've given us, similarly, government has put in place certain measures in the last 7 years. I mean, Operation Vanguard, and then a lot of military exercises across the regions and all of that, just to curtail the particular challenge or situation. But we have not seen much result out of that particular effort. Once upon a time, we've had drones to fly over those communities in mining areas, and then to also get to understand the level of destruction we've caused to our environment. The question is that many Ghanaians anticipated the seizure of this particular illegality. But even as we speak this morning, it is still happening. Clergymen have visited, it never went. So the question is that, would the clergy be willing to lead that front? And who among the clergy will be willing to take up this particular mandate?
If you will give me a media space, and you will hype this, I will mobilize and provide leadership. Okay, if this station, this noble station, will give me the platform and the media space and hype this, we will begin to marshal forces to mount pressure on government, because government hasn't demonstrated real commitment. Professor Frimpong Boateng, in his report, has given us well-detailed information about the key players in this Galamsey. Government hasn't shown commitment. The Joy FM provided a documentary that was evident about the players in the Galamsey. Government didn't show any commitment. I mean, the Attorney General said he doesn't seem to have any kind of evidence to prosecute. I mean, why do you expect him to prosecute his own? Okay, why do you expect him to prosecute? There's no way he's going to prosecute his own. The Jubilee House is part of the Galamsey operation.
Jubilee House is part of it.
They are part of it. The report suggests that. There is no commitment to that. All right, they are just throwing dust in our eyes. I think our president hasn't shown the great commitment to this Galamsey. Key players in their government and the party financiers have been named as people who are playing the role. What has he done? Now the power resides with the people. The people must now rise up. It has to do with your future, my future. It has to do with your children. How old is our president right now? I think he's over 80 years or something.
Yes.
In the next 10 years, would he still be alive? How many of the political leaders in the next 10 years? So they don't just care about what is going to happen in the next 10 years, 15 years. Now, what about the student now who is 20 years old? How can he survive buying water, importing water for the rest of his life? This is the moment we must hit the street. We must mobilize people and fight for our survival. Galamsey is a threat to our very survival. And until the people get angry enough, nothing will change in our society.
Interesting. 36 after 8. This is Kessben. I'm speaking to Most Reverend Samuel N. Mensah. He is the third generational leader of the Full Gospel Church International, speaking to us this morning on some of the development happening in our country and concerns that he has with some of the, lackadaisical attitude when it comes to fighting against the Galamsey menace. And afraid we are joining here. This is 92.9. Keep your messages coming. 0550-596-929, 0550-596-929, 0550-567-929. Text lines and Juma. You can as well join us live on Facebook on Kessben TV as an official handle. Yes, to be live on that particular handle. And as well, Kessben FM 92.9. We are live on DSTV on channel 364, Go TV channel 121, and this is Maakye. Meeting at the Kwame Appiah Kubi, Mr. Speaker. Most Reverend, I'm very glad that you mentioned that if we are going to show some level of commitment in providing you with airtime, then you will be able to lead that cause. I must say that my program, which is the morning show of this particular media house, will be ever ready to partner with you in doing this, because there's been several campaigns we've raised against Galamsey, but just as you mentioned, the leadership seem to care less about what is happening in our rural communities and at large, even the country in its entirety. So we will be ever ready to offer you that single opportunity. Again, one major thing Ghanaians are so much concerned of is the issue of National Cathedral. You've read in the news how Board of Trustee members have resigned from that particular idea of building a temple for Christ. First of all, has your church contributed towards the building of the National Cathedral?
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. You see, our church hasn't contributed yet. Now, I'm saying the church hasn't contributed yet. There were some few things church leaders we raised.
Okay.
We had meetings with the Cathedral Board of Trustees. We raised the issue and recommended the need for open auditing.
Okay.
Because people are concerned. The public seem to be concerned. The public is losing trust. Hence,
in that project.
In the project.
Okay.
Hence, the contribution the contributions have actually minimized. Therefore, we suggested there is the need for open auditing.
Okay.
They agreed. And then we said, okay, now let us have a complete public report on the auditing. Once that is done, and if everything suggests it's right, then of course it will raise the confidence of the public back. If there's something that needs to be corrected, then let them correct it so that at least the public can, the project
the confidence.
Will have the confidence of the public.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we haven't seen much. They said they have really committed themselves to the public auditing, Deloitte and Touche, but no much results have yet come out. So the point is that I think when the report comes out and then there seems to be something wrong, then of course that will be corrected. If people have embezzled funds, they will have to be to face the rigors of the law, okay, and to be dealt with. But until that is done, and under these economic conditions, we think we need to slow down in this whole project because our finances have been messed up. We don't have the money, and so that should not become a major priority now, in my view.
Okay.
I'm speaking for myself as a clergyman. That should not be a major priority now until our fortunes have improved. So that is my position on the National Cathedral.
Yes, but the Board of Trustee membership, I mean, a lot of Ghanaians had the confidence. If you look at the level of personalities that were appointed onto that board, the Archbishop, and then bishops and all of that, the retired presiding bishop of the Methodist Church, plus the Pentecost and all of that. I mean, it brought some level of hope.
Yes.
Did you ever believe in that particular project, or you just saw it as a mere scam?
Well, in the beginning, I believed in the project. I thought it was a great project. I still think the National Cathedral is also still a great project because it will bring economic benefit. I was in Spain last year in Barcelona, and one of the national cathedrals over there is about 400 years old. The amount of income it generates for the city, unbelievable. So naturally, it will become a tourist attraction center. And perhaps in the next 15, 20 years, we will see the benefits of it. But for now, it is very difficult for people to appreciate, because of the economic challenges we face. But in the beginning, when the president espoused the whole idea, I believed in it. I still believe in it, but there's something about vision. You can have a great vision, but if the timing is wrong, you will find it difficult to get the buy-in of the people. As at now, the timing to continue this is of a challenge. If it is probably redesigned in a way that perhaps churches can probably take up the responsibility, government can guarantee an external loan for probably not government to supervise the building, but maybe the church community should take it up as a project, being financed by international, a financial institution, supported by, in other words, government guaranteeing. Perhaps it can be done. And within the next 15 years, whatever money is put in, the church, under the supervision of the church can pay back all the loan. So we should find another way of pursuing this goal.
Yes, but I think some of such initiatives were taken by the Board of Trustees. I remember so well that the Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams led a team to the United States in raising funds for that particular project. But the concerns again is that, are you so much disappointed with the development we have seen so far? And even as we speak this morning, the project is at a halt. Nothing is happening with the National Cathedral. First, Ghanaians raised concerns about the location for which the cathedral was being sited. I mean, bringing down all manner of buildings, paying compensation to the building owners or property owners before putting up a national cathedral. People said it wasn't a good idea. Then the assumption or impression created that the cathedral was not a government of Ghana founded project, but it will be more of private partnership where churches were going to raise the needed funds or resource to be able to put up. I mean, gave that level of confidence to the Christendom. Now you come back and then Okujeto Ablakwa start to issue a lot of things about the National Cathedral, which were done in secrecy. Will you say you are so much disappointed in this particular project and left to you alone, we should not continue it at all? Or better still, we should regain the confidence or the trust of the people and Ghanaians as a whole before we sometime back think of carrying on again with that particular project?
Mr. Speaker, I must say, yes, there is a little bit of disappointment in the approach. There was something, the president explained the concept, but in the course of time, we realized that was not exactly how we felt. So definitely, we have been misled one way or the other. And some of the revelations from Okujeto seem to suggest that. But I might say that we shouldn't throw the whole concept and the project away. We shouldn't. We should find a new way of financing this project so that the church community can take ownership.
But you have a situation where the clergymen are giving up. People are resigning from the board. So, I mean, how do we carry on with a new idea and a new trend?
That's true. But whenever there's a problem, people will just talk about it. And then you need to come back and find out, what do we have to do to solve the problem? What do we have to do to find another alternative in addressing the problem. I do agree that the siting of the project, where it was sited and breaking and destroying almost all those existing buildings, possibly was not the best idea.
Okay.
But you see, the milk has been spilled already. So we don't need to go back and cry over the spilled milk. We should find out what do we have to do. Technically, we shouldn't have probably destroyed all those buildings, because so much money went into the destruction of the building, and now to resettle those people, that is a huge sum of money. We could have moved the project outside Accra. Unfortunately, we didn't do that. Initially, it was church-owned facility. It didn't appear like that. So yes, that is why the public seem to lose trust in this whole project. We need to sit down, find a better way under the leadership of the Board of Trustees to gain the confidence of the people and get the buy-in of the people, so that perhaps the church community should provide leadership and let government takes his hand maybe off it. Government can guarantee a loan, but the church community can build. Believe you me, Mr. Speaker, churches have built fantastic buildings and with scarce resources, so they can equally do same with this particular project. I guarantee you.
Very well. Most Reverend, I'm very grateful on that. But looking at the foregoing circumstances, should President Akufo-Addo this morning extend an invitation to you to serve on the board, will you ever be willing to offer your support and then your knowledge to the construction of this national cathedral?
I'm a true patriotic citizen.
Okay.
And I'm a statesman above partisan politics. I have told and mentioned this both to the NDC and NPP government that I am ready to serve the state. I'm ready to serve the red, gold, green, and not any party color. So regardless of which political party is in office, I am committed to serve that government when opportunity is extended to me, i.e. being an advisor to a president or joining a presidential team in terms of becoming an advisor. I'm ready to do that. Now, to come back to your question, Mr. Speaker, about the being invited to join
the board.
No, I wouldn't accept it for now until we are sure of what the audit report says.
Okay.
What the recommendations
so
are,
you need transparency.
And what we need to do. We need to do that. I will not be ready to join until some of these things are done.
Okay. Very well. So I'm speaking with Most Reverend Samuel N. Mensah, the founder, third generational leader. I mean, that is very important to him. So he's the third generational leader of the Full Gospel Church International. In fact, I must say, I've encountered the Full Gospel Church International before. In Koforidia when I used to be there, at Galloway. So I mean, I know what the Full Gospel Church stands for. Now again, let's talk about corruption. What do you think corruption is doing to us as a country? And do you see that level of corruption in the last 7 years of President Akufo-Addo's governance?
Before President Nana Addo took office in 2016 or 2017, I did say that it appears every successive government has been more corrupt than the previous government. And people took me up on it and they asked for proof. But you see, I was of a strong belief that every successive government happens to be more corrupt. And now we witness what is going on. The massive corruption under this government, Nana Akufo-Addo's government and the NPP government, is just unbelievable.
As compared to John Mohammed's administration.
Oh, absolutely. And if we are not careful, it will be worse in the next government. Except certain foundation or structures are put in place to curb that. But you see, so the corruption we are witnessing now, our president hasn't demonstrated serious commitment to reduce corruption or to fight corruption. His own people, then the Attorney General is not committed to that. And, look at the Aisha case that came up. Okay. What did they do with it? They dropped the case because the former senior minister said it was for economic reasons they have to drop the case. So they dropped the case. Yes, Aisha one case. They dropped the case. Now, how many people have been prosecuted under this with this galamsey and what have you? And the corruption issue, so our president hasn't demonstrated serious commitment to fighting corruption. And I must say
but most of it, they will tell you that that is not factually true, because this is the same president who was committed in establishing the office of the special prosecutor. Now, we know that once upon a time, a former attorney general, attorney general, who used to be a member, or who is still a member of the NDC, was first appointed.
Martin Amidu.
Yes, Martin Amidu was appointed as the special prosecutor just to prosecute the ill wrongs happening within our governance setup. Now, again, they will tell you that you look at the case of Cecilia Benadapa, the office of the special prosecutor is handling it. And so it cannot be that the government and the president at large hasn't shown any level of commitment in fighting against corruption. I mean, any other person watching you this morning may disagree with you in that context.
Mr. Speaker, it's very disappointing when the Cecilia Dapa case came for the president to accept her resignation, and for the president to say that I know you will come out, being justified. I'm not exonerated. I'm not just quoting exactly. I know you will come back exonerated. That was very disappointing for the president to say that, because this is something the person has been they've identified so much money in her house. It has been picked up. There's going to be investigation, and then you jump the gun to say that the person will be exonerated. What exactly are you doing? You are weakening the institutional system. You are weakening the accountability system. You are weakening the state. The state that has to prosecute and investigate. So, if the president himself says the person will come out exonerated, what do you expect the judiciary to do? What do you expect the attorney general to do? What do you expect other state institutions to do? They will toe the direction of the president. So I think it's very disappointing. If a president will keep doing that, that does not suggest being committed in the fight of corruption. And the other issues you raise, what is it? I think it will come back.
Yes.
But most of these things we are talking about, I don't think our government has demonstrated a serious fight against the corruption. Look at the excavators that were identified, these huge excavators. What happened to them? How could excavators vanish? Okay, now people went in and looted and fought into the cost system, during the first term of the president. What did he do? Did he arrest the foot soldiers? Were they prosecuted? Nothing. So there is no commitment. It is just throwing dust in the eyes of the people. And I don't think our government has demonstrated that they are firm on the ground. They want to fight corruption and they want to do the right thing. So we cannot just accept that.
Very well. We are coming to you because I know you have a conference coming up, but I mean, you are receiving a lot of applause this morning from those who are watching from around the world and then even within Ghana. Now, this one is from Andrews, and he says that, good morning, Mr. Speaker. The man of God in your studio is indeed a real man of God. This is how things are supposed to be done. He must speak to the issues and exactly what he is doing. God bless him. Thank you for a message. This one as well says that, good morning, Mr. Speaker. Until people living in Galamsey areas are well educated on the effect of Galamsey, it will be very difficult to fight against it. But the man of God has done justice to all your questions. Kudos to him. These are the kind of people we need. Gideon sends in that one from Obuasi. Gideon, thank you very much for your message. This one says that, good morning, Mr. Speaker. Please ask him if it's right for a man of God who is part of the board of directors for the construction of the National Cathedral to have separate names in two different passports, which bears two different dates of birth with the same identity of a person. Efiaponi, you sent in that one from Ho. Thank you very much. I'm sure Most Reverend will answer that question. And I'm very much aware that he's as well much abreast with that particular development. I'm in Ghana now, and then I want to share an idea with you and the man of God in your studio. He's done so well. These are the truthful people and genuine men of God we need in our country. Thank you. One for with the anchor, unfortunately. This one says that, good morning, Mr. Speaker. My brother this morning, in fact, this man is a true man of God. I'm short of words to hear for the first time a man of God speaking in all sincereness and truthfulness. I am ready to support his demonstration if Kessben Media will lead the effort. Lukman, sensing that one. Lukman, thank you very much for your message. I am on for baby. I'm with the free bano encounter. Good morning, Speaker. Are we really a serious people? And are we really serious as a country? If we are, then we need such people to be speaking on national issues. This morning, you have satisfied us with great content. God bless you. Thank you very much for a message. And a lot more of messages I'm receiving in our inbox. So I'll come to you, Most Reverend, and then we'll talk a bit more. I don't know if you want to answer that particular question. That is it appropriate for a man of God serving as a trustee member on a board have two separate identities with two separate or different dates of birth, but same identity in terms of physique and everything? Would you want to answer that? How right is that for a man of God to do?
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. You see, if we believe in good governance and we believe in the rule of law, if the law says that having two dates of birth in different national documents and what have you, they are illegal, let the law have its way. Let the law take its course. Okay, and hold that person responsible. Let him go and explain it. So allow the law to have its course. Because if indeed this government, the NPP government, boasts on the rule of law,
that's right,
but they don't practice the rule of law. Okay, but the rule of law is part of good governance.
I'm sure they will not be happy with you this morning.
Oh no, seriously, seriously, we are. Maybe let me say, we are not a nation that really believes in the rule of law.
Okay,
we are not a nation, whether NPP or NDC, we are not a nation that believes in the rule of law. Let me ask you a question, Mr. Speaker. When was the last time you've seen any president dragged into court to being prosecuted for his services?
Never have I seen.
You know why? Because it is a matter of I scratch your back, you scratch my back. Now, when this government exits, they will go in peace. No one will be picked up. No one will be prosecuted. No one will be called to give an account. So what they have looted, they create, loot, and share. They go in peace with it. You know, the Seoul Commission report that was managed by Justice Doche said that, you know, this judgment debt is as a result of an intentional destruction or an intentional agenda of our politicians, where they create, loot, and share. It is an intentional system of take national resources from us. So if they keep on doing that, they are wrecking the economy and destroying the economy. But how many times have those people been prosecuted? Nothing. Okay, so this government will exit and no one will touch them. And that is why people will come into the next government and will also say that, look, NPP have taught us how to create, loot, and share. They have taught us how to loot the economy, you know, worsen the economy. So we will also do same until we find a remedy. And for me, the remedy must be a constitutional reform.
Okay,
we must begin to... The biggest threat or the biggest challenge we have in our governance system is the kind of constitution we have. The constitution has overprotected the president to such an extent that when he leaves the scene, he cannot be called to account. I mean, the former French president was prosecuted. The Italian president Berlusconi, who passed away, was prosecuted. Trump is facing prosecution now
in US.
So what is wrong with that? Why can't we hold our presidents responsible if they mess up? All right, for creating this debt restructuring system that in the next 30 years this nation will have to manage our debt restructuring for the next 30 years, believe you me. And it is not this present government that is going to manage this debt restructuring. So they must account for how they got us into the mess. Okay, they should give an account. When they leave office, they should be called to give an account how they led us into this economic mess. The next 30 years, I mean, I have 2 grandchildren. In the next 30 years, there will be over 32 years. They are going to deal with this mess. My children are going to deal with this mess. Now, where would they be in the next 30 years? They are dead and gone. So they should account for the mess we are in now. We entrusted public resources into their hands. And if now we have been messed up, they must be called to account. So there must be a constitutional reform to be able to hold political leaders accountable. And not until we do that, the next government may be more corrupt, and Ghana will definitely suffer a great deal.
Now, what role should the clergy play in all of this? I mean, we've left politics into the hands of these whole politicians. Now, the assumptions are that if you're a good person, if you are good mentality about the country and how it should be governed, I mean, you should stay in your private corner. Do not go into politics, because the assumptions again are that politics is dirty. So seemingly, the good men that we have who can do this country a lot of good are sitting behind the fence. They are never willing to come into the game to ensure the progress of our state. What should the clergy do henceforth in ensuring that some of these things that we've mentioned this morning are dealt with, and are dealt with completely?
Mr. Speaker, politics is dirty because we've allowed dirty people to manage politics.
Interesting.
And that is why we describe it as dirty. And I think church leaders, not only just clergy, the TUC, the professional bodies must remove any partisan color they wear, and begin to put on national colors and look at issues from a national point of view and begin helping to solve the problems of our country. So I strongly believe that we should speak on national issues, continue to trumpet it until what we are looking for can be achieved. We cannot have a docile society. We cannot have a lay-back society and thinking that there can be development. No nation has developed on the bedrock of a docile society. No nation. All nations have developed based upon active participation of citizens. So Ghanaians, sometimes we are too laid back. It's a matter of and it is not everything you give it back to God. God has given us the wisdom to do things. What common sense can do, prayers will not do that for you. And so we need to use common sense in solving our problems. Mr. Speaker, the problems of Ghana are not spiritual. The problems of Ghana is a common sense problem. And so you don't need prayers to fix the problems of Ghana, period. You don't need prayers. God didn't tell us to pray for God told us to pray for our leaders, for them to have wisdom. But if there is galamsey menace and our water bodies have been destroyed, you don't need water. You don't need prayers to create a miracle for that water body to clean the water. What you need is that the miracle you need is to bring the soldiers there, get them to work, and then declare a state of emergency, so that even if you have to shoot on sight, do that, because life is under threat. 30 million people, their survival is at stake, and so it must be a do and die affair. That must be the way we should take it. So it is not prayers that will fix it. It is common sense. And unfortunately, we have hanged the common sense and thinking that we substitute all our problems with prayers. And that has become one of the major things.
They say that is also the creation of the church, because almost every weekday the church is just having some level of prayers. I mean, from afternoon to morning to evening to the night. I mean, there are prayers everywhere. You see a lot of churches every corner you turn to. So that is the creation of you clergymen. If you advise the people to do the right things, they will be able to do the right things. And these same politicians are the people who are chairing your harvest, and your fundraising exercises in your churches. So why don't you condemn them and tell them what is right to be done anytime they are in church? Because every Sunday they are with you in your churches.
Yeah, it's true. We have them in our churches, and they know we speak and we address the issues. Sometimes you will address the issues and they will come back and they say, Papa, so as for this one, dear, I don't agree with you. Or as for this one, you went too far. Once in a while, balance the thing a little bit. They will tell you. But we speak on the issues. And I think, like I'm saying, if it favors them, then they will pat you on at the back. But if it doesn't favor them, then it's like, you are against us. And they will always label you. you. So we have outgrown the labeling of whether NPP or NDC. So yes, church leaders, we do that, but we also teach our people. You see, the symbol of prayer, Mr. Speaker, is putting your two hands together. That's a symbol of prayer. The right hand represents divinity. The left hand represents humanity. You put divinity and humanity together, then a miracle takes place. So God expects us to do something. And what God expects us to do, he will not do for us what he has asked us to do. So there are things that prayers will not fix that for you. Indeed, we believe in the power of prayer, but we also believe in the power of human responsibility. So we must combine the two.
Very well. I'm grateful. I'm speaking with Most Reverend Samuel N. Mensah, the third generational leader. He's the founder of Samuel Mensah Ministries, and very, very, very interesting leadership and transition management expert, speaking to us on a lot of issues this morning. But Reverend, you have a conference coming up, I think beginning when?
We started yesterday.
You started yesterday. Okay, so tell me more about it, because a lot more of Ghanaians who are watching and listening to you would want to be part of it. You are getting a lot of messages in my inbox this morning.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. It is the Holy Spirit Festival. It's a 30-day program, not in the morning, in the evening. So because we don't encourage people to come every morning.
To leave their work and come and pray.
If I'm a company owner, and Monday to Friday, you go out there and you pray, you come back, and I attend the same church with you, Mr. Speaker, I'll fire you.
That's right.
I will literally fire you. Except because you have taken some days off as leave. That one, you can do whatever you want to do. But this is a 30-day evening prayer meeting, prayers conference. It's supposed to draw us closer to God, strengthen us in the midst of this economic difficulty and hardship. We need to give people hope. We need to encourage people and prepare them for a better and a greater year. So that is the essence of our conference, and we are inviting all those within Greater Accra and Ashaman area to be able to be part of this conference. We've been blessed with great speakers like Bishop James Sarr, Reverend Prophet Richard Boateng, and Achu Manasseh. Great men and women of God are coming all over, and of course I'm there myself to be able to challenge and inspire people.
Please give us the location again, because it's very important. People would want to join you. So where's the church located precisely?
It's a Full Gospel Church International. Is located. The Emmanuel Mensah Chapel is located at Community 1 behind Obunu FM. Tema Community 1 behind Obunu FM, and all road leads to Obunu FM. Behind Obunu FM, Emmanuel Mensah Chapel.
Very well. Now we are going into an election year, and I mean the tensions are already high. Your final words to the state and people who are watching you this morning. The NPP also have an upcoming primaries on Saturday between the Vice President, Dr. Mabudu Bawumia, and then the Honorable Member of Parliament for Asin, and then Kennedy Ajapong, the former Agric Minister. No, they are all contesting, seeking to be leaders of our country through their political parties' platform. What do you have for them in their contest and Ghana at large? And then we'll wrap it up.
Mr. Speaker, what I would say, yes, we are going for elections in the 2024. Looking at the state of affairs, 30 years, this year is the 30th year of our fourth Republican rule. The NDC have had 16 years apiece, NPP 16 years to manage our country. We haven't seen any significant change under NPP and under NDC. I'm asking Ghanaians and the youth that we should probably look for a third alternative.
A third alternative?
A third alternative.
Should Alan Martin be that third alternative?
I'm not too sure about that. 16 years for NDC, 16 years for NPP. What else do we expect to see again? Now the people must vote for themselves. Forget about NPP, forget about NDC, and vote for yourself by finding a third force, a third alternative to be able to bring the change that we are calling for. It must be, that change must premise on constitutional reform. Take most of the powers from the president. The president alone can appoint 6,000 people in Ghana in terms of managing boards and serve on board chairman, what have you. Let's take that from him. The president appoints the IGP. Let's take that from him. Let us separate the attorney general from the Minister of Justice. Let us make sure we can strengthen our institutions and then hold public officers responsible, so that when the president leaves the office, he should be dragged to court if he has messed up his office, and he should account for what he needs to account for. So for me, we should look for a credible alternative instead of pursuing the same NDC and NPP agenda. Okay. Fortunately, the NPP is going on the 4th to select their primaries. Well, we wish them the best. May the best person win. But in my view, they have led us to the mess we find ourselves. They didn't manage the debt restructuring well. The reason what I'm saying is that, you see, if we have gone into a mess...
Did you have your money in there?
Not necessarily in some securities, but we needed to move from some of the possible areas. They said the treasure bills, they were going to tackle it and what have you, because it was so difficult now to trust government when it comes to some of these things. Okay. But you see, the best approach of this restructuring was that if you are going to restructure a debt for 30 years or 15 years, you will not be there to manage. Exactly. So you should have engaged all major stakeholders, engage the present government and future government and all major political stakeholders, so that we can all agree on the roadmap for the debt recovery, so that whoever takes over the reins of government in the following year, the next phase, will know that we have committed ourselves to this journey. Therefore, they will honor it. But believe you me, it will be very difficult for the next government because it will be a Herculean task for the next government, especially if they were not part of the restructuring policy. Okay, and so I would say that let's look for alternatives. 16 years apiece for the NPP and NDC. Let us allow them to go home and rest, and let Ghanaians look for a credible alternative. Put Ghana first in the heart of the country.
I think maybe in the future you should also consider becoming a president one day, and you'll be very good at it. Most Reverend, I'm grateful for your time this morning. I so appreciate you for coming. I'm grateful. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I hope we do this again, and then expect to hear more from you. You are very vocal. I mean, I've been watching your tapes and all, so we expect more from you, and I believe Ghanaians as well expect more from you. I'm grateful this morning.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. And that is Most Reverend Samuel N. Mensah, 10th generational leader of the Full Gospel Church International. All roads lead to Tema Community 1 behind Obodo FM. Stay with me. Mebas is here.
Make up a jevielo, Toboli, make up a jevielo, Toboli, Nega Glen Ayeji, Toboli, Nega Yoanyeji, Toboli, Mega Favila Zamenamu, Mega Favila Zamenamu, Nadena Hobela Sionamlo, Devielo, Toboli, Mega Favila Zamenamu, Mega Favila Zamenamu, Devielo, Toboli.
And now I said, I can't be not yet come. I'm fast that be Emma Chocho industry. I don't pay one more Adaroba, woman so I say you boy, one more Ebo, and Pacho Chocho no, and Yabusia and Chemfa, and pay so would see me na unya and have a breakfast. Obey me a yusu a ye Chocho tea. Now, ono numbia a bebo yepa, a yo muejoba yepa, and what you know your bar, Pacho utie me, ono no train anymore, na a bubu, ye wuhia, SSA uyusuno, a ye Chocho, a ye shampoo. The conditioner and any hair food, but anytime I will visit a salon biano ɛsɛ sɛ o make sure sɛ chocho product yi nyinaa no ebi ekura ebetibi aboa ba otrinwi no wɔn de ka ebesiesie no ayɛ ne kama paa ɛno nti anɔpɛ pebi na ɛmoa afei utie me mpacho chocho BPT no ɛbɛboa sɛ utie me blood pressure no ɛwɔ so anɔpɛ ya mpacho tie na ma wonsa ɛnka ɛyɛ chocho BPT ni bi na afei ononom bi a ebetimi aboa chocho skin toner ɛne ne cream mpacho fa bi extra ɛbɛma owedie no ɛde no atoso yie paa na anɔpɛ ɛtimi aboa ama owedie no sɛ woyɛ nipa tuntum a atoso kama woyɛ nipa kɔkɔɔ nso a ɛno nso ɛbɛtɔ so kama na nso ɔbɛn deɛ mpacho ɛnya de papa anɔpɛ ma wonsa ɛnka chocho product ni nyinaa no ebi ɛyɛ busua nkyɛmfa ɛnti o ma wonsa ɛka bia ɛbɛboa woyɛ paa wɔn ɛwɔ Suhum in the Eastern region number 44 ɛwɔ High Street ne so wɔn ne Puma filling station no ana edi ɛnhwɛ ne mu numbers no ɛyɛ 055 1815 388 0551815 388 na one chocho industry any nkɔmmɔ betumi nso afrɛ 0244 727348 na one chocho any nkɔmmɔ anɔpɛ wɔn ɛbɛgye so na wɔn ɛtumi aboa hard builders real estate for adaroba mpakyɛw wɔn ɛma litigation free nsase a ɛbɛtumi aboa ama o project ne nyinaa no ɛtumi awie pɛyɛ sɛ utie me anɔpɛ na wadwen nyinaa no ɛne sɛ opa asase atɔde a wɔn ɛwɔ be ɛwɔ Chopoli Ningo Pram and afei Shy Hills ɛhɔ nyinaa no wɔn nsase ne be ɛwɔ hɔ one plot 70 by 100 pacho 20,000 Ghana cedi pɛ anɔpɛ oma wɔn nsa ka bia ɛbɛboa woyie paa wei wɔn ato wɔn bo ase ayɛ ho nkrata asɛm ne nyinaa ɔhaw bia no ɛne ho ano akyi no pacho building materials ahodo a wɔpɛ iron rods opɛ pipes opɛ blocks opɛ bricks a wɔde bɛsi wo dan no architectural designs and drawings opɛ ne nyinaa bidia anɔpɛ ɛsɛ sɛ one hard builders real estate for AD and komo wɔn bɛgye so na afei wɔn aboa ɛwɔ saa kwan no ɛso wɔn wɔ Ashaiman ube ho wɔn ɛwɔ Kakito wɔn ɛbɛn ɛyɛ police station no anɔpɛ speak to them on 0593 244 322 0593 244 322 and also say for 0591 599006 na one hard builders real estate for any enkomo anopay na womo ebedom aboa ama bibia no atotoye Grace Gift Chaba Clinic pacho anopay Dr. Grace Bodo Adaroma wase menkancho se awo ho nsem ni nyina no any difficulties awunya ni nyina no eto ebetwa infertility ana ama awo no entimi emma anopay de sese oye nyina no ene se oni Grace Gift Chaba Clinic for ebedi enkomo na womo beboa acorrect the infertility challenges are uwo nyina oyoba oyebema pacho watenka ewo form sexual weakness no ana how ama awo no entimemba anopay speak to them womo ebeboa eye nyina no e de afi no achi no hepatitis all types how wadwen stroke hypertension diabetes ni nyina no prostate enlargement and cancer opebe bia womo ebetu ase e de amawa esese one eye Grace Gift Chaba Clinic for edi enkomo anopay wo Kumase ne mpatemu a Ohim School Junction Barakesi main road no eso eho ana obehu womo afe obankran so a womo ewo New Achimota Petroleum Estate womo any Family Life International School no ana edi enhwe ni mo anopay speak to them na womo bejo so na womo aboa 0246 518003 and a face 0543 320030 0543 320030 na one a Grace Gift Chaba Clinic for any answer was so anopay na womo ebeboa pa but your chef's corner anopay a one of the best food joint and a restaurant anopay for a healthy meal no obetimi enya ede efre ho se utie manopay na unya and have a breakfast and pacho ope oat ope Tom Brown ope rice water and se cocoa ana wo pe adi nyina no chef's corner a prepare ni nyina bi at the amount anope ko na kojo de opeti de ope bia no won beye at the amount ewia no ebo at exactly 12 o'clock you begin to go for lunch anope SSA udidi healthy and nti ko chef's corner na anope any ewia bia no mpacho aduane bia wo pe bia no ubenya bi hope assorted jollof rice assorted fried rice ope gizzard with kelewele ope kenke yam chips ni nyina no ubenya bi ope pizza shawarma hamburger ne nyinaa no ade se okọ chef's corner womo ewo nuane assortu we nyinaa bi ewo womo aso anopei se unya ento wachi ampacho kotobi ho na wode aseda no de bebre me later pacho event bi a wo ye bi a weekend a ebe no opese womo be serve na womo ye aduane ne nyinaa ma ewo waware na se eyie na se ana engagement no ase or better still birthday party ana wo ya ofre womo a womo ebeje so na afi womo etimi aboa ewo sa kwan ne so oni chef's corner for any enkomo anopei on 0553 720033 0553 na oni womo any enkomo en which no obetimi afro mo on 0240 874 294 0240-874-294 na on chef's corner any nkomo anopay obehu omo ewo Ghana Technology University campus no inside wa ewo eye Abeka Junction womo any Boomerang eye night club no ana edi enhwe ni manopay speak to them na womo ebejo so chef's corner taste the difference. Indeed the difference is great enti anopay any area experience it for yourself ebebo na opposite na draw no eye imbustable mixture anopay se utie bia pacho imbustable mixture no e boost immune system no eboa ama wo body no etimi ekon editia yare bia anopay se utie me na ope herbal medicine a ebetimi aboa ama wo system no a fight against all manner of diseases and ailments there imbustable mixture ana bede mount anopay woni wo mo edi enkomo on 0246208496 0246208496 na woni wo mo edi enkomo herbal shop pharmacy biano obenya be ato na open dodo mo atua na wafre wo mo on 0246208496 na woni wo mo eni nkomo Franco Trading Enterprise for Adaroma pacho phones papa de aha ana obenya na smartphones ahodo a wo pe nyina no pacho anope koyen showrooms ahodo ni nyina across the country na koje wo de all brands of phones are open pacho Nokia, Samsung, iPhones ni nyina no oko Franco Trading Enterprise ubenya be ewo ho and watch no open a television set and air conditions and open refrigerators and pacho oko a Franco Trading Enterprise onsa ebekabi na wode akwakodi ojuma na afeise we use Android phone ako Play Store na download the app no ubetimi anyone more edin komo ewo so no place you order ni nyina no ewo ho omo numbers no 0246 422 338 and also say for 055-5939-311 na on a Franco Trading Enterprise for any enkomo anopay wamo bejo so na afe wamo etime abwa Obatampa Prostate Center for Adaroma pacho oye bema oye over 40 years and above edru anajua frequent urination no ehawadwen ojonso tentem anajubia de dodomo ana ojonso de ampacho eye prostate no symptoms no ana ebo kokko eno achi no the pressure say urine no edeba no ayana wahu se emanisa ojonso wi a unya feeling no se oblada no urine no ebi akamudia ampacho ni nyina no eye symptoms of prostate eno nti anopay oni Obatampa Prostate Center for any ensawoso wombejo so na afi womo ahwe etusa how ni nyina no ase ede amount ansa na e develop ababe kese obekọ so fifi prat last stop eho ana obehu womo anopay for womo on 0553800678 0553800678 na one eye Obatampa Prostate Center for any enkomo anopay wombejo so na womo teme aboa na fruit juice essential herbal mixture for Adaroma pacho minerals any vitamins ahodo a udidi esese wunya nyina atoso de no any fruit ahodo a wudi a unya sa minerals any vitamins no efi mu nyina no ana fruit juice essential herbal mixture ene yaputini nyina no in one particular container ana yede bro eno nti se wutie manope ya enkrofo se food supplement pa esan se onum bia all the nutrients we here se obody no ebetimi dia ye adwuma ye ni nyina no ade se onsabeka ewo fruit juice essential herbal mixture mo eno nti se wutie mi a anope pacho Bora pharmacy shop ana herbal shop bi e ben obi a okwa ose ope fruit juice essential mixture na wajibi na wanonombi ebeboa wo ye pa anope se wutie mi nso na wo nkran ene ne mpatemu a oba Kwame Circle Kessben FM ye fear ha say asada Twin Towers wo mo asset up ewa ha asie hope a womo eton bi enti adope oba duduo bi a wo pato bia no obetimi enya bi ato se owo eye Kumase ene ne mpatemu a obekọ eye Habme Pharmacy ana fe Freddy Mens ewo KO na wetimi akwakoto bi ewo obenya ne duduo mu bi a wo pe bia na wetimi atubi enkran so Habme Pharmacies ni nyina no across the region obenya bi ewo mu na afi wetimi atubi anondo mpacho frɛ womo on 0244 514 507 0244 514 507 and also Sefre 0208 066 719 0208 066 719 na one a year essential fruit juice essential for any enkomo anope na womo ebejo so ama bibia no etebe aye kama ede amount na Eclipse Collateral Management for Daroma pacho womo eboa o property documentation no the benefit esese unya woso nyina no womo ede domo ewo sa kwan no eso anope womo de wajapade nkrata no ede beye adwuma na afi womo atua commission ewo ho eno ntisa wutie mi a na ene da edikan wo ajapade nkrata bi ho a fabra womfanye adwuma no muntua osika ewo ho anytime bia wo hia o document no ananso se onkrata ne bia no oba Eclipse for ede wade ede bema from womo anope on 0266999020 0266999020 ananso se for 0302 551877 na one Eclipse Collateral Management for any ensa woso anope womo wadenta new site womo be med Moses Clinic no anope okohwa obehu womo na one womo edinsa woso Kanisa Herbal Mixture for Daroma anything called pain ade bia eye yaw a eti woni padua so bacho ononom Kanisa Herbal Mixture no a etu ase prekope edema anope ma onsan kabi o techiban ene ne mpatemu a obekọ eye contain taxi rank kwa baseline pharmacy ewo ho obenya na dodo mu etimi etu bacho say your waist pain menstrual pain prostate enlargement vaginal discharges ni nyina no ana ede yaw ababeso ewo so a esese ononom Kanisa Herbal Mixture na etu ni nyina no ase ema 0247887436 0247887436 ana fe 0202990943 na one Kanisa for any ensa woso anope na womo ebejo so aboa ama bibia nso atuto ye ede ama
Kessben 92.9 Asidan
we have a lot in stock for you. Adope yene eye most reverend Samuel N. Mensah, the founder and leader Edema eye the Full Gospel Church International and Edin Komo on many things ACC ewo oh my God mo ochina be rest assured say yeba eye full politics and yebetimi ama watimi ehu na afe yanewo edi enkomo about the upcoming primaries all the details the SSA uhubia na afe yade nonso edi ama mini akrobia Maakye bibia boko de edi adove Kwame Appiah Kubi, Asante, Deputy National Communication Director of the New Patriotic Party, a very humble soul and a very good gentleman. Now, weekendi obey busy pa na yenini nyina ana ebeye business and say womudi shemua akosi say the final winner will be declared and we are ever ready to serve the country to ensure say your democracy no yebetimi aje ede esiho. Enti Krobia, good morning to you. Mame Wishe Mame Wishe Dasebre Chum Ampofo the second chief of a year a very big happy birthday. Dasebre Adope Onkwaso Nyame Insha I want to Onkwane. Happy birthday to you. God bless you so much. Name Wishe Edward Osei Amwafo, a very big happy birthday. God bless you so much. Adope will wish you the best of your new age. God bless you. Ready enter the Muncho that one your Kessie. Mame Wishe Latifa Shanuga, a very big happy birthday. Happy birthday to you, Latifa. We celebrate you this morning. God bless you so much. Ready enter the Muncho that one your Kessie. God bless you on your new age. Stay blessed. And happy birthday to Patrick Akoto, Piaro Edema, Mediama Sporting Club. And Akoto Patrick, happy birthday to you. We celebrate you this morning on Kessben. That means that when you're Kessia. God bless you. I said Joe comes up next after me with midfield action together with the entire sport crew. Me did Kwame Appiah Kubi on behalf of my team. I want to say a very big thank you for staying